And you'll never guess how many of these extra large bars Blue Bunny makes every year.
We make over 6 million bars every year.
They make the mix in 300-gallon flavor tanks and then pump it into ice cream freezers. One for the vanilla and one for the strawberry.
It's mixed with air in the freezer, and then it's actually dispensed in a liquid form.
It sounds simple, but how do they keep the strawberry and vanilla from mixing?
To keep the two different ice cream flavors from mixing together, they're dispensed at different temperatures and they use different nozzles. Vanilla is on the outside and strawberry is on the inside, so it's kind of like an illusion. So when you bite into the product, you're like, oh wow, how did that strawberry get in there?
With the strawberry surprise hiding inside, chilled brine runs underneath the molds and lowers the temperature of the ice cream.
As the molds rotate around, they become partially frozen, and now we're able to insert a stick into each one of the molds.
Over 14,000 shortcake bars march through the stick machine every hour. Giant robotic arms pull the bars out of the molds and dunk them into warm brine, preparing them for their cookie crunch. But you'll never guess how they get it to stick.
There's this cool spiral auger that spins around real quickly and flings up the shortcake pieces so it covers it.
Shortcake pieces fly through the air, covering every inch of the bar.
It's really fun to watch.
Now that they are wrapped in their colorful coat of crunchiness, they slide into wrappers and seal up tight.
And then they are boxed and they go into the deep freeze, which is minus 40 degrees, very cold in there.
But you can't buy these frozen bars at the grocery store. Here's a fun fact. Around 12 cookies end up inside each Blue Bunny container of cookies and cream ice cream. And find out just how many cookies are crunched up in cookies and cream ice cream. They combine milk, cream, and sugar in huge tanks. Then they pasteurize the milk and add vanilla flavoring. Next, the cream meets the crunch.
We use over 1.5 million pounds of cookies every year, which equates to over 2 million gallons of cookies and cream ice cream.
The cookies fall through a hopper and slowly mix with the ice cream. And in case you're wondering, these aren't your average store-bought cookies.
We've had to work very closely with our suppliers over the years to develop a cookie that holds up in the ice cream formulation.
A dispenser fills the containers one by one. And here's a fun fact. Around 12 cookies end up inside each Blue Bunny container of cookies and cream ice cream.
We make 70 containers per minute, which equates to 4,000 containers per hour, and that builds up to over 80,000 containers per day.
Totally tubular treats are pumped out. First, workers use a nifty little device to lift a dozen empty tubes onto the line at one time. Next, the tubes are filled with 3 flavors of sherbet. Orange, cherry, and lemon lime create a fruity rainbow. Caps roll off a wheel covering each freshly filled tube, then they're stacked end to end for boxing. Robots quickly assemble the boxes and push the tubes inside. Next, the tubes go in search of their cool. They find it inside a frosty 40 below freezer. The cool tubes are frozen solid and ready for shipping. Blue Bunny makes about 15 million cool tubes every year. That should keep the kids chilled out. Blue Bunny ice cream makes more than 9 million cool tubes every year. One secret is they're all made from sherbet, not ice cream. To make these bright blue bites, big batches of raspberry sherbet are mixed up in large vats. Workers use a nifty gadget to pick up several empty tubes and place them on the line in one swift motion. Next, the empty tubes are filled with sherbet from the bottom up. You can't see it, but this is where Blue's paw print makes its entry into the cool tubes.
The paw print is another color of sherbet that is put within the tube by a process of a tube within a tube. When it's being filled, the outside sherbet is filled in the tube, and the tube inside that contains the paw print design, and that goes from the bottom to the top.
This one very productive push-up machine pumps out 160 cool tubes every minute. Paper caps pull off a giant roll and seal each filled tube. The chili cylinders are then packed in boxes and sent for a ride through the spiral freezer. The 40 below temperatures inside freeze the cool tubes solid in a matter of minutes, locking Blue's Clues safely inside. The stick is inserted and the ice cream is cut lickety-split. The whole thing happens so fast, if you blink, you'll miss it. Even though Bugs looks like he's made out of ice cream, he's not.
The actual ingredients are cherry-flavored water ice.
The cool treat gets its loony shape from a bunny-fied former.
As the ice cream is extruded from the top down, you've actually got 3 different ice creams going into the same nozzle.
Next, Bugs gets his bug-eyed look with the help of bulging blue gumballs. 2 machines work side by side, carefully placing first the left eye, then the right.
Kids love the bubble gum because I think they look at it as a bonus. It's something they can chew for an hour or 2 hours all day if they want. It's not all over in 10 minutes after they eat it.
At this point, the ice cream is still soft, so Bugs takes a trip through a bitterly cold bunny hole. This hardening room is chilled to 40 below to quick freeze the bars in only 20 minutes. The trays are given a knock to loosen the frozen bars. Then robots precisely pick up each bunny by its stick and carry it to wrapping. Bugs is gently placed in an overwrap tube, then it's sealed and cut without human hands ever touching our beloved Bugs Bunny. It makes sense that another famous bunny is behind Bugs being frozen in time. Hidden dividers keep colors apart, and with added air mixed into the batch, it's a frozen treat with ultra superpowers. Powerpuff Girls are one of the many familiar frozen shapes conceived by the superheroes at Blue Bunny Ice Cream. Cherry flavor is added into 4 mixes of corn syrup, fructose, and unique colors. The mixes freeze up and meet in a mold where 4 color faces fly out of a superhero shaper. Hidden dividers keep colors apart, and with added air mixed into the batch, its texture is a unique cross between a popsicle and ice cream. Bolstered with the help of these machines, the girls move at super speed. The blinding pace continues as the gumball hopper pops in the eyes, one chewy orb at a time.
Gumball seems to be instant gratification. You open up the package, it's right there in front of you. Instant treat.
But it's no treat to eat until the Power Puffers blast off into the freezer, where they spend 30 minutes at 40 below zero. But look out, their frozen figures are now stuck to frosty plates. In the nick of time, robots free the ladies loose and whisk them away to packaging and eventually eager eaters. The ice cream is extruded through Shamu-shaped molds while a stick is stuck inside. So here's how Blue Bunny makes this whale of a pop. Vanilla ice cream is extruded through Shamu-shaped molds while a stick is stuck inside. A wire cuts the killer whales free to the proper width.
In the ice cream business, the best way to make sure that ice cream is as smooth and creamy as possible is to freeze it as quick and as hard as possible.
Then, Shamu takes a swim in chocolate coating. Now here's where Blue Bunny really makes their mark. A stenciling machine quickly sprays on the Shamu shading.
People don't realize this, but when you look at the markings on the Shamus, we want to do the same thing on the ice cream bar, where they have to make sure they're perfect.
And for all the whale fans who like a little crunch with their coating, Blue Bunny also makes some bars with almonds. Then the mini Shamus are wrapped and shipped off to SeaWorld, where they sell over 1 million a year. A killer whale rules the roost. At SeaWorld, Shamu takes center stage in his circle of friends.
The molds start to warm up just enough that the bars can be Lucas Limon bar. There is no natural fruit. It's more of a lemon lime flavor.
Flavor specialists designed a taste mimicking the candy. And strangely enough, one ingredient in this sweet treat is salt. First, this flavored liquid fills 250 popsicle molds per minute. And talk about turning the tables, this mold conveyor spins, getting colder with every rotation. And when they start freezing up, popsicles become sturdy enough to hold their sticks up straight. Once they reach minus 38 degrees, these pops are ready to break out of the mold.
At that point, the molds start to warm up just enough that the bars can be extracted from the mold.
This sweet and sour mix goes from popsicle to wrapper in only 12 minutes. And although they're of Mexican descent, limon bars have a universal appeal to those who have visited Margaritaville. This tart treat's inspired by a popular Mexican candy called Lucas, which is known by its ducky mascot. And limon is Spanish for lemon or lime.